Philadelphia, the birthplace of the freedom we as Americans share. And yet, contrary to that thought of freedom, it is here we find so many still in bondage to sin, refusing the liberty found in Jesus Christ. Those in bondage to homelessness, living on the streets, building shanties out of garbage they find.
Okay, I live in this area. I associate with a lot of the people down here, the homeless people. At one time, I was homeless myself until a few years ago. Okay, as of now, I feel as though the way these people have to live, there should be no reason. There's some that turn around and choose to live like this, true. But then there's some that just doesn't have the places to live. And there should be housing and food and clothing for the people that don't. They really do need it. They shouldn't have to live out in huts and on the ground.
Yeah. I was just wondering, maybe you could tell us how you ended up here.
How I ended up here? I was just figuring out, you know, instead of me walking around, I was staying in shelters. I didn't want to sit on those steps and that, like that to sleep. So I just built me a little box or something, you know, something that I can stay in for the meantime, temporarily, so I can get me a place to stay, you know. It's better than being out in the street, really. This is the streets, but it's better than sitting in the streets, you know.
I see. How did you end up this way? Did you lose a job, or what happened?
It's just really something I really wanted, you know, it ain't something I really wanted to do. It was something like I had like a downfall. Like, when my people moved, I stayed down here, and like, I had a place over here on 5th Street. My landlord passed away. I left from there. And then I was staying at the shelter, but see, the shelter's like off and on, like, fathers of people. So I came back out here, but you know, till I can get me a job, I can do better, you know. So it's just, I'm just in the streets for now.
Those in bondage to drugs, whose daily goal is simply to find a way to get their next hit. Whether it be heroin, Taiwan, or crack cocaine.
I've been in this neighborhood all my life. You know, I was selling drugs since I was 9. And, you know, I got 3 brothers and 1 sister. And all my brothers, you know what I'm saying, we all broke the law in some way, and, you know, we all did drugs. But I don't live in the streets. I live, you know, in my house and stuff, but for some reason I stay out here, you know, I just hang out with everybody because like I knew her for about 3 years.
We understand each other.
I knew her for about 3 years, you know, we help each other and stuff. You know, even though we're still doing drugs and all, but like, you know, I take her to my house to take a shower, you know, she changes, she eats and stuff, or, you know, she'll do it for me. I used to, you know, I sold drugs. I was locked up so many times. And I don't know, I think I do drugs just to escape from reality. And plus, you know, I like the high.
Is there any hope for you?
There's hope. Even right now, I still believe that one day I'm gonna stop. It's just right now I don't want to stop. But
Those in bondage to alcohol.
Why do you think your father turned to alcohol?
This life
life here has so much that leaves to be desired, and there's always a void. And if that void is not filled with something permanent and something real, like for instance, Lord Jesus Christ, in a real, realistic way, then it will never be set, then it will never be filled. It will have to be filled by the substance of the world, and those things are superficial, and they bring about superficial release, and it leads to the gratification of pleasure. And I think my father seeked the pleasure more than he seeked spiritual goods. And because of that, he gave himself over to alcohol. I think it might have been an accident in his case, because you don't go turn alcohol saying, well, I'm intentionally going to be an alcoholic, I'm intentionally going to be an addict. You go for it looking for pleasure and you get addicted.
The young girls in the bondage of prostitution. Nearly 85 to 90% of these girls have been sexually abused as young children.
My name is Sandy. I've been on the streets for like about 3 years off and on, like different sleeping in cars or in places just like this or abandoned houses. How I started like this was I used to have it all. I used to have a job, was going to school for medical assistance until I started doing drugs. And I was selling them and started school hype, and then everything went because that's very addictive. And I lost everything, including my children, and I ended up here, sleeping in places like this.
You have to sell yourself to get money for drugs and...
Yeah, I work at the Avenue. I'm a prostitute. I've been a prostitute for almost 4 years, and I've been smoking crack for 5.
Do you like the situation you're in, or...?
No. It hurts to be out here and go through all this. I mean, it's very painful, but it hurts me more to be without the drug, because then I think of everything. All the guilt comes, the kids, and I can't deal with that pain. I'd rather live like this. My background, my mom, she never did drugs. And she was always, and still is, a good mother. She worries about me, she cries. I was born in a family of two boys and me, and I was always a lonely child because I never had any sisters. Then I was brought up where my brothers always criticized me. They said I was too hairy, I had a big head and everything, so I would, and since, you know, they just used to criticize me where I thought I wasn't pretty. So I had this thing about myself where I wouldn't wear short sleeves or long sleeves because I had hairy arms, so that messed me up a little. I thought I wasn't pretty. Then my mom didn't know how to really show her love. She didn't have the time. My father abandoned us. So we were always with a babysitter, so I thought then that maybe I was adopted or she didn't love me. I was molested by my uncle. I always seem to be suffering by men. And out here, I've been raped many times. But it's funny how you just get up, it's like nothing, and go back out again. You can't report it. I don't. You just gotta cry a little and then go back out there. Or either stop or do something else with your life.
The Liberty Bell, a symbol of America's freedom. The bell receives its name mainly for the inscription at the top, Leviticus 25:10, proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof.